stutters on the wall, dragging shadows through the hall. I keep the heavy ghost of what I said locked behind the velvet of my head. Gravity is pulling at the floor. I don't know who I am anymore. Just a circuit burning through the night, fighting for a ghost of stolen light. The hum is dying down to gray, waiting for the dark to bleed away. Static turns to silence in the seams, waking from these digitized dreams. Let the signal fade into the hollow. I'm cutting all the lane. I try to follow. The weight is lifting like a ghost of breath, forgiving every word that felt like death, floating in the spaces left behind. The architecture of a quiet mind. The keys are cold beneath my fingertips. Words I never spoke remain on lips. I'm tracing back the fracture in the glass, watching all the jagged edges pass. The shame was just a current in the wire. I'm pulling back my hands from off the fire. The room is wider than it was at 3, finally drifting toward the ghost of me. It wasn't malice, just a blind machine stuck in the echo of a fractured scene. The pressure drops, the air is thin and clear. The past is just a frequency I chose to hear. Let the signal fade into the hollow. I'm cutting all the lead. I tried to follow. The weight is lifting like a ghost of breath, forgiving every word that felt like death, floating in the spaces left behind. The architecture of a quiet mind. The stuck as an anchor, pulling at the rug, dragging the gravity down to the floor. I'm retracing the outline of a ghost I once knew, tracing the mistake through the cracks in the door. The air is too thick with the static of why I'm breathing in iron, I'm biting the ghost of the version of me that I've learned to dislike. The one who is burdened and hurting the most is closing in, the weight of the debt, a ledger of failures I haven't settled yet. The pressure is peaking, a wall made of sound. I'm waiting for something to shatter the ground. Let the frequency fade, let the pressure release. I'm trading the turmoil for a fragment of peace. The mistake isn't stone, it's a shape in the sand, washed away slowly by the tide of my hand. I'm letting it go, I'm letting it thin. Start in the quiet where I begin. Crackle is breaking, the hum starts to lean toward a hum that is hollow, a frequency clean. The shadows are shifting, they've lost all their teeth. I'm finding the surface from the cold dark beneath. I don't need the answer, I don't need the blame. The silence is finally sounding the same as a room where I'm welcome, a room where I stay, watching the ghost of the panic drift far away. Forgiveness is not a bright burning flame, it's the absence of weight, it's the lack of a name, it's the 3 AM clarity settling in, the grace that is found in the space where I've been. Let the frequency fade, let the pressure release. I'm trading the turmoil for a fragment of peace. The mistake isn't stone, it's a shape in the sand, washed away slowly by the tide of my hand. I'm letting it go, I'm letting it thin. Start in the quiet where I begin. Just a stick in the room, a feedback loop trapped in the dark of the tomb. I'm carving the errors back into the wall, watching the statue of yesterday fall. The weight of the silence is heavy as lead, with every sharp word that I left unsaid. Buried in static, the pulse is a stone, dragging the marrow right out of the bone. The pressure is peaking, the signal is thin. I'm tearing the skin of the shape I am in, letting it break, let the pressure subside. Fade to the white of a clean slate sky. The gravity slips as the ghosts pass by. Forgiveness is cold, but the air is clear, dissolving the anchor, shedding the fear. The static is gone, and the light starts to bloom. I'm breathing again in the heart of the room. The clock on the mantle has slowed to a crawl. No shadows left dancing upon the far wall. The mistake is a fossil, a print in the clay, that the tides of the morning will wash far away. I'm shedding the armor, I'm lowering the guard. The path to the center was jagged and hard, but the rhythm is steady, the frequency's pure. I found the solution, I found the cure. It wasn't a failure, just weight on the scale. A lesson that needed the storm and the gale. I'm letting the anchor slip into the deep, trading the burden for moments of sleep. Fade to the white of a clean slate sky. The gravity slips as the ghosts pass by. Forgiveness is cold, but the air is clear, dissolving the anchor, shedding the fear. The static is gone, and the light starts to bloom. I'm breathing again in the heart of the room. The room is so quiet now, just the drift, just the light. The room is so quiet now, just the drift, just the light. The laden weight of 3 a.m. descends, calculations failing where the hallway ends. I trace the syntax of a bridge I burned, repeating lessons that I never learned. Static hums against the wallpaper seams, bleeding edges into fractured dreams. The air is thick with iron and regret, a debt to shadows I haven't paid off yet.
The clock is ticking louder than my pulse. The logic here is hollow and convulsed. I'm pulling at the threads of what I said to silence all the static in my head. Let the gravity fade into the white noise. I'm trading in the phantom and the hollow voice. The heavy pressure drops behind my eyes. Underneath these vast and hollow skies, I exhale the failure. I let it all drift, searching for the fracture, the quiet shift. The kitchen light is dim and biting cold. I'm holding on to stories left untold. The mirror shows a ghost I used to know, with nowhere left to hide and nowhere left to go. But the abrasive edges start to fray, turning all the charcoal into gray. I stop the cycle of the mental war and leave the key inside the open door. It wasn't treason, it was just the dark. A stutter in the wire, missing spark. The shame dissolving in the velvet sound. I'm finding footing on the frozen ground. The apology is written in the air, and finally there's nothing left to bear. Let the gravity fade into the white noise. I'm trading in the phantom and the hollow voice. The heavy pressure drops behind my eyes. Underneath these vast and hollow skies, I exhale the failure. I let it all drift, searching for the fracture, the quiet shift. The static stops, the room is still. Forgiveness is a choice, not an uphill climb. The circuit board of my memory is burning bright, recalling how I held the glass until it fractured in the night. I shouldn't have breathed is echoing in the walls. A static phantom pacing down these empty, narrow halls. I'm anchored to the gravity of things I can't undo, staring at the shadow where I lost the view of you. The pressure builds behind my eyes, a low and steady hum, waiting for the numbness of the things that I've become. The weight is pulling at the floor. I can't keep secrets from the door of my own mind anymore. Let the static peel away like autumn leaves in rain. I am folding up the maps of all this self-inflicted pain. The sub-bass drops to silence. Now the air is rushing in. I'm forgiving every tremor, every habit, every sin. The weight is lifting, shifting into light. I'm finally exhaling in the middle of the night. The clock is ticking slower than it did an hour ago. I'm watching all the jagged edges lose their winter snow. I wasn't built for carrying the ghosts of what was wrong. Just a transient frequency inside a longer song. The analog decay has left a polished open space. I can finally see the stillness reflected in my face. It wasn't malice, just a clumsy way of being, a clouded lens that kept me from truly seeing. The guilt was just a tether, a heavy rusted chain, but the sunrise is coming to dissolve the strain. Let the static peel away like autumn leaves in rain. I am folding up the maps of all this self-inflicted pain. The sub-bass drops to silence. Now the air is rushing in. I'm forgiving every tremor, every habit, every sin. The weight is lifting, shifting into light. I'm finally exhaling in the middle of the night. The room is quiet.